A bit of a different angle on a similar question. So, do you think there's certain areas of the Permian it's easier to quote unquote clean up your operations? As you start to design different facilities and there's carbon capture technologies and whatever type of infrastructure needs to be put in, does that lend well to certain parts of the Delaware that are earlier than in their infancy versus a Midland basin, for instance? Or are these types of things lower dollar amounts, and once companies figure it out, or they have to figure it out, they're going to try to blanket it across their operations? Because I, there's different classes of minerals buying. You have folks who chase ducks and PDP for the yield. You have folks that are kind of permits and ahead of permits, trying to get stuff within usually 12 to 18 months. And then there's folks who believe in good rock is good rock. They want a diversified, they're going in white space, and they feel they're happy to wait 5, 6, 7 years if that's the play. I've seen a shift back to wanting to invest in white space and believe in the overall development of the basin. Just because it's gotten so competitive with institutional capital chasing the yield. Perhaps tracking these methane startup companies and carbon capture companies and the watching the midstream, the trading space around RSG, and just all of that is, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here, but in the minerals game, it's whatever type of intel you can get to lower the risk or the uncertainty on buying that undeveloped mineral acre. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll put carbon capture off to one side, and let's come back to that in just a second. I think in terms of a mineral investor trying to get an edge with, have an option on responsibly sourced gas and position themselves to get more revenue per mineral acre based on reduced flaring and reduced methane emission, I'd follow the operator, not the county lines, although those are somewhat correlated. I mean, if you think Pioneer is going to win, then you want to be in, Midland or Martin or Howard or, Reagan. That's where they operate. If you think Devon's going to win, then you want to be in, Ward Winkler, Loving and New Mexico, because that's where they are. So I think it's going to follow the operator more than and by the way, what are the levers that are being pulled? There's really two. There's retrofits and new facilities. So if you really want to get into
that's what I'm getting at. So
if you really want to get inside baseball, you'd look at the operator and say, well, how many wells can they drill through their existing facility footprint, and how much of their production requires brand new batteries? Because one of the things that, and by the way, people can go to the UL website and watch a video of a panel that I moderated with the COOs of our 4 largest operators on this topic of emissions broadly. We really focused on methane abatement, and it's really 2 themes. One is surveillance, and the other is facility design. So surveillance and retrofit is the way they're trying to make the existing kit perform better, and the facility design is how we're going to build it in the future so that we have just less opportunity for methane leaks. And so I won't claim to know. I mean, if you sort of sit there and say, okay, if I look at the top 10 producers in the Permian, I say, okay, for the next 100 wells, how many are going to go through existing kit and how many are going to go through new kit? You could do that math. I'm not sure it's worth doing it. If I had limited calories, I'd probably focus on trying to assess which 1 or 2 operators are going to get to the future first. And to the extent I could do it, then they have that be an input to my investment strategy in terms of what I value, where I want to put my chips.